Google Maps will change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Google is complying with President Donald Trump's executive action that renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Soon, the name change will appear on Google Maps, ANA on X. Google explained that it has a long-standing practice of applying name changes when they have been updated in official government sources. The name will be tweaked when the Geographic Names Information System, a government database of names and location data, is updated. Google will also change the name of Mount McKinley, the nation's highest peak, from Denali. Former President Barack Obama renamed the Alaska landmark to Denali in 2015 as a nod to the region's native population. Both changes stem from an executive action that Trump signed shortly after taking office last week, saying the changes honor American greatness. It is in the national interest to promote the extraordinary heritage of our nation and ensure future generations of American citizens celebrate the legacy of our American heroes, the executive order said. The order criticized Obama's decision to rename McKinley as an affront to President McKinley's life, his achievements, and his sacrifice. Drawing parallels to Trump, the order notes that McKinley championed tariffs and was assassinated in an attack on our nation's values and our success. And in a nod to the Gulf of Mexico's contributions to the U.S. economy, Trump is directing that it officially be renamed the Gulf of America. The executive order calls for all federal government maps and documents to reflect its renaming. Google notes that only users in the United States will see both changes because when official names vary between countries, Maps users see their official local name. Everyone in the rest of the world sees both names. That applies here too. Alaska House members passed a resolution Monday urging President Trump not to rename Mount Denali to Mount McKinley. Trump signed an executive order on his first day in office that undid a 2015 order from former President Obama naming North America's highest peak Mount Denali. The word Denali means the High One and originates from the Koyukon Athabascan, an indigenous Alaskan group. It's a symbol of history. It's a symbol of culture and a symbol of respect, the resolution's author, State Representative Maxine Dibert, D., who is Koyukon Athabascan, told the Associated Press. While the vote passed comfortably with a 28-10 count, some of the state's Republicans suggested rephrasing the resolution's wording to show appreciation for President Trump's efforts to support drilling in Alaska. Perhaps that's the best way to unite us and unite this resolution, and say, hey, President Trump, thanks for doing all this. Could you possibly stop the renaming of Denali? State Representative Kevin McCabe, R., told the AP. Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy, R., said he hopes to meet with the president to discuss the renaming of the mountain next month in Washington, despite the Interior Department's confirmation that the changes are already underway. President McKinley championed tariffs to protect U.S. manufacturing, boost domestic production, and drive U.S. industrialization and global reach to new heights, Trump wrote in the executive order, drawing clear parallels with the former Republican leader. He was tragically assassinated in an attack on our nation's values and our success, and he should be honored for his steadfast commitment to American greatness. Following recent U.S. regulations under Donald Trump, technology giant Google announced that it will make changes to its Google Maps platform to use the name of the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. These updates are in response to an executive order signed by President Donald Trump, which instructs the adoption of this new name on official maps and federal communications in the country. In addition, Mount Denali, located in Alaska, will be updated to Mount McKinley. Google justified this change because the company's usual policy is to reflect in its maps the official names that appear in government sources. However, the technology company noted that the name Gulf of America will be visible to users in the United States, and for those in Mexico it will remain Gulf of Mexico. In the case of other regions, people will be able to see both names. This is a long-standing practice. When official names vary between countries, Maps users see the local official names. In the rest of the world, both names are seen. That applies here as well, the North American company explained. The company also clarified that the changes to its platform are not immediate, and in this case, Google will proceed with the modifications to its maps once the U.S. authorities complete the update of their official databases. This decision seeks to respect local designations while reflecting official updates made by the U.S. government. Google stressed that this practice is not new and that in cases where official names vary between countries, its platform displays the local names in the corresponding regions. In the rest of the world, both versions of the name are presented, as will happen in this case. Another significant change announced by Google is the update of the name of Mount Denali, the highest mountain in North America, which will be renamed Mount McKinley on its platform. This change also responds to the executive order signed by former President Trump, who instructed that official maps and federal communications in the United States should once again adopt the name McKinley, in honor of former President William McKinley. Is it now mandatory to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America? The U.S. government, Donald Trump, announced that it has fulfilled its promise to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has generated criticism from the Mexican government and specialists. On the other hand, the new name is being used by some institutions and Republican politicians, which has many wondering if its use is obligatory in the rest of the world. In an executive order shortly after his inauguration on Monday, Trump explained that the body of water is an indelible part of the United States, key to oil production and fishing, as well as a favorite destination for American tourism and recreation. The measure includes changing the official name of the Gulf on federal maps of the country within a maximum period of 30 days. The president said he wanted to highlight the influence and legacy of the United States in the region. Should the Gulf of Mexico now be called the Gulf of America? For now, changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, as President Donald Trump is seeking, is mandatory for federal use. The government is required by law to present its case to the Geographic Names Board, made up of representatives from various government agencies. If the board does not act within a reasonable time, the Secretary of the Interior has the authority to change a name. In this regard, the Secretary of the Interior of the United States, Doug Burgum, has shown his support for the initiative. The U.S. Board on Geographic Names, under the oversight of the Department of the Interior, is working quickly to update the official federal nomenclature in the Geographic Names Information System to reflect these changes, effective immediately for federal use. The term Gulf of America was first used by the Coast Guard in a statement on the implementation of Trump's new measures against migrants, and also by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis when referring to a winter storm. What's happening in the rest of the world? Trump's proposal, however, would not have to be followed by other countries or international organizations because the Gulf is an international body of water with coastlines in the United States, Mexico, and Cuba.